Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have another top 5. We have another top 5 video. We've got a few top 5 coming out within the next week or two. This is the top 5 free tanks in what blitz. And what I mean by that is what it says. I mean, tanks where people got for absolutely nothing. There is quite a few. Wargaming have done like events. They've done given away tanks for like tier 3 tanks, tier 2 tanks for birthdays, etc. But this is mainly event tanks that you could actually get for free. Now these days, when Wargaming do an event, it's not really an event where you get a free tank. It's very rare that happens. Maybe a tier 5 or a tier 6 is possible to do without spending, but mainly what the events are is to get a big discount of a tank. Back in the days, they didn't do that. They made events hard, but they made them doable, and this was one of them. The T20, the IS-3 Defender. It was a free tank. It took a lot of work to do, but if you managed to spend the time on the game, you could actually get this tank for absolutely nothing. I think it was like the top 1,000 people or so. I can't quite remember, but I got mine for absolutely nothing. Next up, quite a recent one is the M6, the EXP M6A2E1 or whatever it is, EXP. This was another event that Wargaming did do, and this was probably the most recent one where you could actually get a tier 8 tank for free. I've had this a while, and I actually paid for this tank when it first came out, but more recently they have done an event where you could have got this tank for free. Not quite sure on what the events are. I can't really remember, but what I do know is that people did manage to get this tank for absolutely nothing. It's a good tank. It really is a good tank. I like this tank. It's not as good as it once was when it first came out. When it first came out, this thing was insane. No one really knew how to deal with the armor profile, as the front plate, the front of the armor is really good. The turret's really good in certain positions. It does have weak points, of course, but back in them days, people didn't shoot premium ammo. And that was a nice shot, Batman. So they didn't really know how to deal with it, and that's the same with all new tanks that come into the game. People always say that good new tanks that come into the game are OP just because they don't really know how to deal with the tank. So this is up there in the top 5, the tanks that you could get for free, that you actually paid nothing. Next up is probably one of the best. That is the Dracula or the Hellsing. Again, this was an event where you could get either one of these for soddle. I picked the Dracula, I've done the event, and I got the Dracula for absolutely nothing, for free. Let me know in the comments if you was around for this Halloween event, and what tank did you get? Did you get the Dracula or did you get the Hellsing? I got the Dracula for free. Started playing it, and honestly I didn't like it, so I ended up paying for the Hellsing. You couldn't get them both for free, but you could get one, and these are the two probably most OP tanks in the game that you could get for nothing. Absolutely nothing at all. Zero, zilch. So yeah, the Dracula. Now I went back to the Dracula later on. I don't know why I didn't like it. It's a great tank. It's a great fun tank, and so is the Hellsing. Wargaming nowadays, they don't do these kind of events. They don't. I think they've learned their lesson about giving too many Draculas away, too many Hellsings away. They don't really do these kind of events where you could get an OP tank as such for nothing. Absolutely, they don't do it. I think they have learned their lesson. But I was around for these events, and bear in mind, there is more than 5 tanks that Wargaming have given out. There's loads of tanks that are not on the top 5 list, like the Tankenstein, that's on there. That event-wise, the 59 pattern, which was more recently, the FCM, they are all on you could get them all for free. Now, next up is the Panzer IV-S. Again, they recently done an event where you could get this tank for free. Again, I paid for my tank. I paid for this when it first came out. It wasn't a lot of money. And this is again, what a fantastic tank this is for free. And it was actually quite easy to get this tank for free in the event. I got mine for free in the event. I mean, I already had the tank, so I just got some credits instead. But what a fantastic tank is. If you're a free-to-play player, these events that Wargaming does do, they are fantastic for earning these kind of tanks. I mean, if I was a free-to-play player, I'd love this tank in my garage. So I do like Wargaming's, I do like it when Wargaming does an event where you can actually get the tank for free. Of course, the higher the tier up you go, the harder the event is. Now, again, there is a couple more on the list. You have the Glacial. That was a free tank. Again, a tier 8 tank. You had the Blaze. Wargaming, people say Wargaming are greedy, etc. Yeah, the price on some tanks are stupid. But if you look back, if you've been around a while and you just look back and think like how many tanks have been able to you've been able to get for free because of some event. And they are doing events quite often. Obviously now they've got the battle pass. Yeah, you have to get the battle pass to get the Eraser tank. And that's, I think, the direction Wargaming are heading. They have pretty much stopped with the OP tanks given away for free really easy. And they've made it more so you can get the tank, but you can get it for a huge discount. And I mean, like, you can get 80-90% off the tank. If you don't complete the event, then you only have to pay a little bit for the tank. And people get confused about that now. They look and they rage and they say, like, this is impossible to do if you don't pay for the tank, if you don't pay for if you don't put money into the game. It's not entirely true. You can still get tanks, and some of them are still really, really good. Next up, the controversial one is the M60. Now, I was the lucky one who received this tank for free, and even still today, people don't know why this was given out for free. And this is why it's my number one, because it was just given out at random. And I got the tank, and it's a good tank, and it's a tier 10, which is why it's number one on my list. Of course, there was rumours going around. It all determined on how much money you spent in the game. If you'd spent so much, you'd get an M60, but that isn't true. That isn't true, because I've known people to spend more money on the game than I did, and they don't receive the tank. And I've also known people to spend very little in the game and they also receive the tank. So it's something it's a criteria that we're never ever going to actually know. Wargaming will never tell us what you had to actually do to get this tank for free. But luckily for me, I was the lucky one. I was one of the lucky ones. I got it for absolutely nothing, and I enjoy the tank. Basically an M48 pattern. I enjoy the tank. It's a really, really good tank. Got a lovely turret, lovely DPM, and just an overall good tank that I enjoy playing. So that is why this is my number one, because imagine back then when you haven't got too many premiums. I mean, you spent a lot on the game, but you haven't got too many premiums. And a lot of the money I spent on the game was for gold or for free XP, not so much tanks. Until later on in my Blitz career, when I pretty much started making videos and I wanted to get the content out, so I'd buy the tank. But the M60, obviously, when I log into a game, and I'm pleasantly surprised to say an M60 is now in your garage. You've been given an M60 for zero money. So that is still, it buffs a lot of people. It baffles a lot of people as to why people actually got this tank. And I'd still love to know, even as a contributor, an NDA contributor who signed an agreement not to share anything, even I still don't know why this tank was given away for free. I'm sure someone out there does know, probably from Wargaming or a leak site, I don't know. But the big rumor was it all determined on how much you had actually spent on the game. But I think there was more to it than that. I definitely think there was more to it than just spending the money, because as I've said, people were getting the tank and they haven't actually spent a lot, and there was other people that spent a lot but didn't actually get the tank. Like my workmate, for instance, pretty much he quit buying, he quit paying for things in the game. He quit putting money in, because he used to be like me, spend a lot of money in the game, and he didn't actually get an M60. So it kind of triggered him a bit, and he then just said, you know what, fuck Wargaming, I'm not gonna buy anymore. I'm not gonna put no more money into the game. Why should I? If this is all about money spent, then why the frick haven't I got the tank? So that is my top 5 free tanks in What Blitz. Tanks where you didn't have to pay anything for. Of course, I bought some, but that was before any event. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye. With